Okay, so let's just dive right in. With these incredibly powerful AI tools suddenly available to pretty much every student, it's kicking up this huge question, one that gets right to the very heart of what learning even is. Today, we're going to unpack this tension. When you use AI for your schoolwork, who's actually doing the learning?
And that's really the big question we're tackling today. It's something students at places like Stanford are wrestling with, right now. And the answer, well, it's not nearly as simple as you might think. It actually tells us a lot about where education is headed.
All right, so first up, let's tackle the argument that's on a lot of people's minds. It's this fear that when we delegate our thinking, we're basically just training the AI and we're the ones losing out.
A Stanford student named Gabriel put it about as bluntly as you can. If I give it to ChatGPT, it's learning and I'm not. For him, it feels like every single time he offloads a task, the AI gets a little smarter and his own skills just don't. It feels like a zero-sum game, and he's worried he's on the wrong side of it.
And this fear, it goes deep. I mean, right down to the little things. Gabriel said that even when he gets stuck on one tricky sentence in an essay, he makes a point not to give it to an AI. And why? Because for him, that struggle, that mental effort, that's the workout for your brain, right? That's the exercise that keeps your critical thinking muscles strong. So what this means is that students like Gabriel are intentionally drawing a line in the sand. They're deciding which tasks to protect. They're keeping the tough stuff for themselves, like wrestling with that difficult sentence or making the final call on an argument. They're holding on to the core skills they know they'll need for their future jobs, where you can't just ask an AI to do it for you. But that's just one side of the coin. There's a totally different way to look at this, which brings us to the counterpoint. The idea of learning from AI. What if AI isn't the thing that replaces your thinking, but the thing that actually supercharges it? This quote from another student, Aliana, really flips the script. She doesn't see AI as a crutch at all. Nope. For her, its output is more like a model, something she can study and break down to actively make her own skills even better. So how does she actually do this? Well, she's got this super clear 4-step method. Step 1, she writes the first draft all on her own. Then step 2, she hands it to the AI and asks it to be like a professional editor. Polish it, rephrase things, elevate the style. But here's the magic, steps 3 and 4. She puts her version and the AI's version side by side, and she actively analyzes the differences to improve her own professional language. See, she's not just copy-pasting, she's actively breaking it down. And the result? It's not just some abstract idea. You can actually see it. Aliana herself points out that by really studying the AI suggestions, her own way of talking and writing has become way more professional. So she's not just finishing an assignment, she's actually upgrading her own brain. So we have these two totally different ways of looking at it, right? The AI is learning, or I am learning from the AI. And the way students are trying to figure this out is by coming up with their own personal rules, their own frameworks for how to use these tools. Okay, so let's just put this side by side for a second. On one hand, you've got the risk. AI just takes over and the student's own thinking process grinds to a halt. But on the other hand, you've got this amazing opportunity. AI acts as a kind of high-speed tutor, accelerating your learning. The big question is, how do you grab that opportunity without falling into the trap? Well, here's a really smart, simple framework from a student named Eric. He basically splits every task into 2 buckets: knowledge versus decision. If the task is just about gathering knowledge, say summarizing a super long article, he's happy to delegate that to AI. But if the task requires a judgment call, a real decision, that's something he always keeps for himself. And here's another great mindset that kind of builds on that idea. It's called the teach versus solve framework. And really it all comes down to your intention. When you open that chat window, is your goal to get the AI to solve the problem for you? Or is it to get the AI to teach you how to solve it yourself? Just that little shift in your mindset, it changes everything. So what's the big picture here? What does all of this mean? Well, these new ways of thinking aren't just about getting homework done. They're hinting at a really fundamental shift in the kinds of skills that are going to matter in the future. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway. Forever, education was all about cramming knowledge into your head. But now we live in a world where an AI can pull up basically all of human knowledge in a split second. The game has totally changed. Being successful isn't about finding information anymore. It's about what you do with it, how you challenge it, how you connect it, and what you build on top of it. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As AI gets better and better at spitting out answers, maybe the most valuable human skill of all isn't having the right answer, but asking the right question. Just something to think about.